exactly 3 weeks to the Assin North By-election, and the battle line has been drawn as the New Patriotic Party and the National Democratic Congress lays their boots for a showdown. Today, delegates of the New Patriotic Party are deciding which candidate is best fit to lead the party. Frederick Amwache and Charles Opoku are the contenders. We'll take you to the constituency shortly for some updates, but first, let's zoom into why the Assin North is of interest to the governing New Patriotic Party and the biggest opposition political party. So 3 individuals to just take a look at right now within the Assin enclave. First of all, you have James Achikwesin, who polled one of the highest in terms of ranking votes within the central regional constituency of Assin North. Then you have, of course, Kennedy Japan coming through with some 57.3%. He's actually leading in that Assin enclave. You have John Ntimfojo, who's also on the side, coming through and controlling one part of the area with some 39.3% in the last election. So that's how crucial all of the matters are for the candidates working within the Assin area and demonstrating how swing the region or area is. You see the charts indicating that continually the candidates that represent the New Patriotic Party have their form of endorsement declining by the years, shooting up, first of all, for Kennedy Japan in the year 2000, and continually we see a decline, although he's been winning that election as the years go by, to where we are now, which was the last election in 2020, amongst one of the drops he's witnessed. But same can be said for the likes of the previous candidates who did that on the ticket of the NDC up to 2012, where he shot up. And then we have James Achikwesin taking it back after a decline in 2016. But James Achikwesin raising the bar high there. But for the presidential and parliamentary trends, you can see clearly that for the parliamentary votes and percentages, clearly at the point of 2020, the parliamentary votes were much more higher than the presidential slots. We went to the New Patriotic Party's candidate, now a President Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, as opposed to the NDC sweeping that seat with some 55.21%. So that's the indication you can see clearly in terms of the dynamics governing what's happening within the area. We can now go live to the Assin North area. My colleague Richard Kojonyako is our man on the ground. Richard, what's the latest and what can you report?
Well, so Blessed, the primaries has ended. The NPP2 aspirant came up for this contest. We have Charles Opoku and then Freeman Chey. So at the close of polls, Charles Opoku polled 397 votes. 397 votes as against Freeman, who polled 157, and there are static scenes over here. As soon as the election ended and the declaration was done, the national figures, the national officers led by the General Secretary of the party, the national organizer, they took the victor, that is Charles Opoku, the one who won the primaries. They took him on a jolly ride through the town of Assin Akomfode. Remember, Assin Akomfode is one of the towns in the Assin North constituency. Now, 2 of them that stood for this election, they all come from Assin Breku. Assin Breku, incidentally, is where Mr. James Achikwesin came from. Now, the argument has been that George Achikwesin came from Assin Breku, and that is why he won the 2020 election. And so today they fielded 2 of the people that are also coming from the same town, and that is the biggest town in the Assin North constituency. But the NPP makes the point that it was because of some internal wranglings. That is why Mr. George Achikwesin took advantage of that and then won. But now they have resolved all internal issues. coupled with the numerous projects that they have done in the constituency. As we speak, you can see the road that has been asphalted. It's a 32-kilometer road, and it spans the Assin Central, that is Kennedy Japan's constituency, right through to the Assin North constituency and to Katie Amon's constituency. And there are numerous projects that are being undertaken as we speak. There are earth-moving equipment that are currently in the constituency. They are trying to finish up. Various drainage systems are being constructed. There are some caterpillars, bulldozers that are currently on site. Some of the residents allude to the fact that, well, they need development, but the state of events are currently the energy in the construction has come at a very quick pace, even though they need them. They feel that some of these things are being done for the elections, but the NPP says that no, the people need the development, and so once the development has started, even though they may have stalled at a certain point, they will continue with that project, and they are stopping at nothing, and the campaign towards the by-election begins from now. So currently, they have left Assin Akonfode and they are going to the town where Charles Opoku comes from, and they are beginning the campaign right away. Blessed.
Okay, how about leading figures within the New Patriotic Party who were present there? What sense do you get from them as to the readiness of the party and, of course, sweeping that seat from the National Democratic Congress?
Also, they have been responding to issues that have been raised by the NDC that the candidate does not qualify. They raised issue that the candidate did not even have a vote, but they said that, well, it is because the NDC fears the candidate they are bringing, that is Charles Opoku, and that is why they are raising all manner of issues. But per the constitution, Charles Opoku qualified by all stretch of the law, and so they do not understand why they are doing that. In terms of vote buying, the national organizer also replied that, well, they have begun all these projects. They began the project even before the 2020 elections. The project may have started at a point, but they are back in the constituency and they are doing what they can to complete that project. In fact, they indicate that the projects that are in this very constituency, there are over 100, and the president will be in town before the by-election to come and commission one of the projects. That is a 32-kilometer road stretch between Assin Fosu and the Assin Praso enclave. And so they say that everything has been resolved. They have resolved all their internal mechanisms, all the internal wranglings that made them lose the 2020 elections. And so they are going to wage an effective campaign and win the by-election.
Okay, you've been interacting with some of the party members. What have they been telling you?
Well, so they are very, very happy. They are ecstatic. Their joy knows no bound. They feel that this is someone who comes from within them, has stayed with them, owns an NGO, and the NGO has been going about some development, has given them some development in the constituency. Let me speak with this man. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Why are you excited? Why are you here?
Because of by-election, baso Assin North. And I'm a police station chairman. And you buy a beto abano. See, I trouble every Yahudi obedient our by-election. I didn't be send a bear. Ya beji has seat, and until I see
more confident in much may win.
Oh, so far, so sharp. Andra Yashahon Kekani and Ne, the SU1 dia. In fact, city the affair. Near you, Juma, a Bojuma Palma party.
Amount for Kase, and Puntujuma Ecosuinia because of by-election in Tina Ecoso, then I'll come.
Oh, so far, so almost idea, Anna Rubabia, Ushuma, and Puntujumano, fine, Umba baby dear. Name Mono, so be and Tiata say, Ebia, and many may never be a baby in Puntujuma, and no one Chimka say. At times, BBC will fear. And I say, be our engagement, and I say, ye be Kurana. You see, if ye a person a bear, and I hope be bombing with say, if you na ye baby engagement to man, I say, ye bay you, a beer, a chese, BBSC, Intina or Moba. And this is, yes, if ye, not say, a bassy de train beer. If we say, no shada in your dear, ehu ana say hadwen enti eno de
no nye project no mo ye nye by election no mo ye sa project we some say project ko mo ejaye o mo to aba no we na contractors no kra fee side
oh so mo kan sa eno de ehun se adwuma de du ba bi a mo ye no mo break kakra ha ena wo hwe animanim so ana se by election so ba na so mo to aso no mo sisi fi ne fie efe amamanfo ba fie mo hu say fie so animunyam wo fie.
So what this man essentially is saying is that, well, when you even have a funeral, engagement, a wedding ceremony, I mean, some preparation has to go on. Same with the by-election. So once there is an event that is coming, they need to increase the pace of development. So if it were to be wedding or something, they would paint the building, they would do other things. So he does not see that it is a move that is intended to buy their vote or sway them to vote for the NPP candidate. Thank you very much. What's your name?
My name is Isaac.
So why are you here? Were you a delegate?
Yes, please.
Okay, who did you vote for?
For that one.
But we are done with the election. Did you vote for Charles?
Yeah.
Why did you vote for Charles?
Oh, I love him. And he has put some things in measure that you want to help Assin people. And that's why I love him.
He said that Charles comes from this constituency. He's done a lot. What are some of the things that Charles has done that will make you vote for him?
Oh, a lot.
A lot, like I want you to name just two of them.
Oh, well, almost some year ago, I think he selected some people and he have been helping them to get their handwork so that they can also cater for themselves. So a lot. He's trying his possible best to help Assin people. Yeah.
Are you personally, are you happy that a project will begin and then they stop for about 2, 3, 4 years, and then because there is a by-election, they quickly come and then they start asphalting the road, constructing the drainage and all of that? Personally, take yourself not as a party person.
All right. I think the government have already put these things into measures, and not because of the by-election. I think the project is under contract, so they have been doing their job already. Yeah.
But there are indications in the constituency that right after the 2020 elections, the contractors left sites. But now they have come to sites and they are using day and night to undertake these activities. Are you not sure that it is because of party politicking and all of that, or they mean business, or they mean well for you guys?
Oh, it has. I think they plan to do it, and very unfortunate it came across to this election, so we will take it like that.
What do you do? What job do you do?
I'm a painter.
You are a painter,
yes.
And you are satisfied with everything that is going on, and you feel that Charles Opoku should be the MP for this area?
Yes, please. Yeah.
All right, thank you. So he says he is a painter, and he's been working in this constituency, and he doesn't feel that it is a measure intended to buy the votes, their votes. Hello, everyone.
Bache frame me fia.
Na dentina o ye delegate ara.
Me pa cho da bi.
Na ewie nka se ka koye adwuma bi ni ade adentina wo hase a me so wadi asa ho nyina akra fo.
Me pa cha me party ni hu don tia. Tina me sia me wa ha no mo no.
Na party no wa ye den anka sa ma wo.
Oh, onya hwe ma me de ba me ni akọ free education. Tina ma me so me di akire bi no.
Okay. Na wanka sa constituency se we hu se niema omo ye road ni niema road ni bi wo ho mo sha se ko mo ja akra gu ho se sia no ehu sa ma ne mu so pa onje ndi se abato ye betu ntina omo asan abaye omo di ahoden abehye ya.
O me pa cho da bi.
Adentina ofi.
Adwuma ne ye ne dada ntia.
Omo ye ndada sesen.
Se ye road na say so e kwan na ye fa so no wan ntwe ni ye no omo anya amaya e ka metinye anya kwanhia amaya hwere ye nkwan ntina ma omo guso omo
Ti dada de nti omo anya kwan na ma oji se by election by na omo di ahoden nya nka behye ni.
Oh, me pa chenye sa. No no guso omo ye no. Ba e be fan se no so ka hu bi. E be fan sa.
Nti wo obeto ama Jo Kwesi na so obeto ama Charles.
Me pa cho me dem ye NPP ni ba nti meto ama NPP.
Okay, thank you. So I was asking her why she even came here and he said that this is his party, her party, and she will vote for the party any day. She's an NPP sympathizer. The party has not really done anything for her specifically, but her brother has enjoyed a free SHS, and in terms of development, they need development, and that is why the various constructions are currently ongoing.
Okay,
so let's speak with this final person. Alex, and then Charles Opoku wini. Yanhwe constituency mu, enema mu hia na enema ekoso ni ade. Who ni say?
Oh, what we need there my pa because it means Oba no obebu ama Assin North and put to a ne kan kwa ye pe no sebeka.
Na Joja Chikwesi ya mo friend Boga. Na yesi Boga de ni trimu ye pa Boga oye bi ma mo ni ade. Den na wa switch ko Opoku sesi a so beto am Opoku.
Yeah, the ni nafa because aduane ni no ya tibi hwe because so far as I'm NPP ni ya dia me Jokwesi no me support no because kwa fa so the eba no amwa Ghana
ma no fa so ba
sene ne ka ya ekura no koye mienu no wono yi what do you call it country Canada ni ono so wa Ghana ni anu ti na ma sa ohanu na ba because send pa wo di nu di ba ya nka sa ohanu na no sabrika Assin North nka yakoya nim because kwa fa so de ba no ma yemputu na yehwe no atwe betire tesi enya ovra chance no obebo ma se mputu na yehwe no ebe sa ba
nti wankasa wotwe aban ba ye den pa na wa ya ma wankasa obegina so ade ato aban na ma aban
no ma me de ma me enum nyina wie free ss ama se anu obi na adwuma se ne fata de o che so eba no so ba ai me ankasa so no mitu se enu bebre akoso a mani je ho nti MPP de abanya oba eviasi na basisa ama yanso no nya fa hudi.
So what this man is also saying is that, well, the MPP hasn't really done anything for him, but for the fact that two of his siblings have benefited from the free senior high school, and there are numerous projects that are also being done in the constituency. That is the basis for him to vote for Charles Opoku and by extension the NPP. Let me also remind you that the NPP now has a parliamentary candidate elect. Mr. Charles Opoku polled 397 votes as against Freeman, who polled 136. Charles Opoku 397 as against 136 by Freeman. Currently, as we speak, the party bigwigs, all the supporters, they've marched to the big town of Assin Breku, where there is going to be a mammoth rally to announce officially to the people of Assin Breku that they have indeed gotten a candidate, and a candidate in the person of Charles Opoku. And so tonight, the party indicates that the actual campaign, the effective campaign that they say they are going to watch, is starting tonight, and they are not going to leave any stone unturned until this seat is won by the new patriotic party.
My colleague Richard Kujinyako joining us there from the Assin North constituency. We'll keep our eyes on that. This is your election headquarters. We also focus on the NDC because it has indicated that its candidate for the elections will be James Chikwesi in spite of his challenges. Before we get to the side of the National Democratic Congress, let's bring in the Communications Director for the New Patriotic Party, Richard Ahiangwa, is joining us via Zoom. Thank you, sir, for your time. So, quite a smooth process, no major challenges, but will this inure to your ultimate electoral victory, in your view?
Please, I think your line was a bit faint.
I was just pointing out there that just as we've heard from our reporter there, my colleague Richard Kujinyako, indicating to us that Charles Opoku is now the parliamentary aspirant or candidate-elect for the New Patriotic Party within the Assin North area. No major hitches for today. I'm just wondering if that's a good omen for your political party, with a belief that you will win the Assin North seat eventually.
Absolutely. Thank you very kindly. I think that the outcome of the elections today is a sign of good things to come. We've always indicated, following from the success in Kumawu, to repeat the same thing there. Our party people deserves a very good commendation for the way they conducted themselves from start till finish. I want to also take the occasion to commend the General Secretary, the National Chairman of our party, for supervising a process such as this. So I think that, like you've asked, is evidence of good things to come. And I think that on account of that, this 27th election will be a victory for the New Patriotic Party.
The decision by the NDC to retain their embattled candidate, the belief is that he may be winning some sympathy votes based on some of the challenges he's faced over the period. You don't feel that will play against you as a political party?
Not at all, not at all. You know, the former, well, I said, Mr. James Kwesing is not an innocent party in this matter. The NDC would like us to believe otherwise, but he knew full well that he was not in a position to contest when he filed in 2020 to become the parliamentary candidate for the constituency on the NDC's ticket. He knew he didn't have to do that. He knew he had to have his certificate in hand. So it's not an innocent party. You only qualify for anybody's sympathy if you are innocent, but he's not innocent. And so on the basis of that, he deserves no sympathy vote, and I don't think he's going to get any. What Assin North needs now is one who is honest, one who will be focused on the job for them, for the period that his misrepresentation has cost the people, because you know, much of advocacy work requires some legwork. Government will distribute and have this development go everywhere proportionally. But then if you have an effective MP, he adds to what comes to you. And that's what Assin North has been missing for the better part of this second term of the president. And now we have the opportunity to elect an NPP MP, one who can walk on the day one to Parliament and be able to begin to establish contact with all the ministries, agencies, and departments to say that we are running a bit behind. Assin North needs to accelerate our development. And he, as an NPP MP, will be able to push the right knobs and have development go to the people of Assin North in the manner they deserve. And
Richie, the conversation about overnight projects, allegations that it's a signal of vote buying, similar to what the NDC claimed when you were running the Kumawu by-election. You're not perturbed as a political party?
No, Blessed, I would suggest to you that ignore the NDC. They don't have any real conversation to be had in Assin North. And you know that they started this conversation about, oh, his vote is not in the constituency. And they knew very well that has nothing to do with anything, because their own candidate in the Kumawu election, our candidate in the Kumawu election, had their votes outside the constituency, and that didn't create any problem. The NDC is struggling with a message. They have nothing propositionally to give to the people, and all they want to do is ways and means create doubt and create conflict situations to be able to benefit out of that. We are clear in our minds. Our focus is that how do we get development to every part of this country? The MPs play a critical role, and now we've succeeded in putting a parliamentary candidate out there to be marketed. What we are going to do effective today is to try and rally the constituency to buy into the vision of the government to say that we want development to come everywhere. We want every MP to engage to ensure that what their people deserve, they get. And so Charles Opoku, who is now the parliamentary candidate, we believe will win the seat. And if he does, he will then contribute to ensuring that the lots of the people of Assin North are enhanced. And I think that on the 27th, New Patriotic Party will win. The NDC will come with all sorts of schemes, but that's not where we are focused. Those schemes, the days for those are past. Now everybody is focused. People want advancement for their communities. They want development. But I tell you this, I think on, 2 days ago, I heard about some young people, concerned young people from Assin North who gave a press conference to talk about how is it that they are terrified about the prospect of Mr. Kwesi running because of the real risk of him probably ending up in jail for the criminal liability that case that is hanging around his neck. So we're looking at a choice between stability and instability, a choice between certainty and uncertainty, with the NPP proposing stability with now Charles Opoku going forward to accelerate development for the people, and the NDC are bringing a candidate who offers nothing but uncertainty and instability for the people of Assin North. And we think that Assin North deserves better. They must get a candidate who is at work, who is not embattled with legal cases, and who does not face a prospect of being jailed because of his perjury.
Well, the people who matter, the electorates, constituents will be deciding your fate as a political party. But your counterpart, Sammy Gyamfi, has been in a warpath with the Electoral Commission, even over the nomination process. The document talks about sets of people nominating the candidates being same as the candidates who comes from the same constituency. At least that's the interpretation from the side of the opposition political party. You've been watching this whole conversation surrounding the nomination process itself and what the dictates of the Electoral Commission is suggesting. You feel that the EC should explain its side better?
No. I mean, Sami is not being serious. The whole NDC enterprise in Assin North is not being serious. I just told you earlier that they are set up to create distractions. They are set up to just muddy the water. They are not there to campaign honestly to do anything.
Yeah, but he's provided grounding for that, and you've read that as well. There's no grounds for it. Yeah, but you've read what's on the nomination form, as is pointed out. Yes.
Yeah. Listen, I don't have to read the form.
Right.
Okay, I don't have to read the form. You should ask Sammy if he knows that their parliamentary candidate, the one they fielded, with an equal chance of winning the 23rd May election, Kwesi Amankwa, where his vote is when he contested. Did he know about this when they fielded that guy? When they fielded him to contest, did he know that the guy didn't have his vote in there?
Yeah, but that's the work of the Electoral Commission, isn't it? To check and to be sure that what you're stating on paper reflects the reality.
What vetting guy? Sorry?
I'm saying that, yes, I'm just saying that's the work of the Electoral Commission.
That's what I'm saying. But you as a party, but he is now the question, right? He's now raising the question, and his party has submitted an individual whose vote is not in the constituency. So everything he's raising now, they've been in violation of it if that is the case he wants to make. So that just tells you that they're being hypocritical. They're not being serious. And when I say they're not being serious, I'm not saying that in a bad sense. I'm just saying that they're joking with the whole serious matter that exists, right? The Assin North conversation, I tell you without any shred of doubt, the NDC doesn't have a message to go to town with, because if you're a political party, you cannot vet your candidate such that an individual who is in clear breach of the Constitution, you pass that individual to go contest, and now the issue is hanging around your neck, right? And so the least you can do is to eat humble pie. You don't come around trying to throw doubts in the air about anybody. When your own candidate, everything they were saying about Charles Opoku, their candidate was before Charles Opoku, and who said that is a problem? The Constitution is supreme. And I tell you, look, if the Constitution gives the EC power in Article 55, having given them that power in 45 to supervise, Article 45 to supervise public elections, and they are actualizing that in 51 by making constitutional rules to govern elections, the rules that the Electoral Commission make cannot supersede the law that gave it power to make those rules. So if Sami is a lawyer, and I know he knows these things, right? He knows, but they're just trying to create petty doubt and make it appear as if something is amiss. Nothing is amiss. The EC has power to make rules to govern the elections. The EC rules cannot supersede the Constitution. It's a basic fundamental rule of law that the Constitution is supreme. Any other law in conflict with it would not stand. So the Constitution would stand. So all that argument was about nothing. And really for the NDC to throw doubt because they don't have anything to say. We're going to engage them in Assin, just like we did in Kumawu. Our proposition is to canvass people. We're not going there for any mess. We're going to canvass people to vote party because we believe development must happen, and Assin North deserves development.
And some experts and political watchers there taking on the even the Electoral Commission itself for laying or sowing the seed for discord and tension in the kind of response that we've seen from an independent elections management body, accusing the National Democratic Congress of lacking evidence in the 2020 presidential petition case. This is a separate contest. Why should the EC stoke more tensions by referring to what happened in the past, particularly in a different set of elections?
Well, I may have to talk to the EC about that. But if this happenings now is anything to go by, you can conclude that the NDC is up to no good. And if anybody talks to them in those terms, it is as a result of their conduct. But what we're inviting them to do in Assin North is that, look, I have a belief that it's a 50-50 situation. But right now, I am scared to the marrow that in the unlikely event NDC wins that seat, they're not going to do anything for the people. But I've been there. I've been to Assin North.
Okay.
And you want to tell me, see, that deserves representation. Look, and let me just tell you one thing. The NDC is in town canvassing that, oh, Sal needs representation, Sal needs representation. They are here in Assin North trying to risk the representation of the people with an individual who has a real prospect, okay? He has a date with the law, and that date could end him bad and possibly in jail. And they are risking that on the people, possibly setting up another date for a by-election if the law comes down to it. I'm not trying to prejudice.
Yeah, but that should be good news. That should be good news to you as the NPP, isn't it?
Why would a political party subject a people to that kind of risk?
I'm saying, Richard, that should be the headache of the NDC, and perhaps good news for you if it happens.
Well, unfortunately, I'm a Ghanaian. It's not a thing of NDC and NPP. It's about the development of the people. We need to make responsible decisions. The NDC must take calculated risks. This risk they are taking is uncalculated. It's exceedingly irresponsible. And they needed to have reined themselves in and move away from that. Because why? You are telling the people that we brought this person and he was in breach of the law, but he's the only one in the NDC? Is that really what they are telling us? And I'm telling you that election, it can be up, it can be down. So in the event the very unlikely outcome happens, and then this gentleman had to go to jail, what happens? Is that a financial loss or so that we have to go back to another by-election? So that's why, for us, it's our concern, to answer your question, as a New Patriotic Party, we are giving it everything to ensure the NDC would not win that seat. On the 27th of June, we are going to leave no stone unturned and ensure that on the day the NPP wins, that is good for Assin North and that is good for Ghana.
Okay, grateful. Thank you for spending some time with us. Richard Ahiangba, Director of Communications for the New Patriotic Party. Well, youth group, Youth Bridge Foundation, says there's a real risk of scores of young persons being disenfranchised if the Electoral Commission does not reopen the register for young persons who have now attained 18 to obtain voters register before the by-election. Let's bring in the Programs Officer for the Foundation, Najwa Ahinkwan, who's joining us via Zoom. Thank you. We know that clearly, looking at the timelines and the days leading to the elections, it's simply next to impossible to run a limited registration exercise. You agree? And kindly unmute for me as you make the point.
Thank you very much for having me here. We at Youth Bridge Foundation don't think it's a limited time for the Electoral Commission to register the few youth in Assin North who have turned 18 years. They can do this within 4 to 5 days. Hence, it's possible for them to do the registration for the people in Assin North to also exercise their franchise.
You're aware that, for instance, the New Patriotic Party is just getting their candidate, the NDC also doing same and having James Jachikwesin back Just barely 20 days to the main elections. A number of processes and events leading to that big exercise. I mean, what would the country lose, and by extension the people of Assin North, if these young voices are given the opportunity in the next round of elections?
If the youth are not given the opportunity now, it means we are setting the precedent where youth can be set aside and decision-making can go on. But here lies the case, it is their right, according to Article 42 of their Constitution, that they have to exercise their vote once they turn 18 years. So they are just upholding their right. If we can nullify a candidacy, then we have to also uphold the law. So if we are going to do this, then we are setting a precedent where in the years to come, people who turn 18 after an election, voters registered with that, can let go of it, and then you don't have to register them. But we need to uphold the law at every point in time. If it calls for postponing the election, we need to do it and then make sure that the right things are done.
And legal opinions divided on this. The fact that the CI governing this election may not be as recent as what's going on in the floor, where we'll have the opportunity to have continuous registration going forward. So if we're using the previous regime or framework that the Electoral Commission is working with, it might be a challenge legally to have all these people registered before the election.
So since 2012, we've argued for a continuous voters registration, where once you turn 18, you can just walk into the district office like you do for National Health Insurance Scheme, where there's a continuous registration. If the government is going to do this, then we even get to the point where people turn 18 years and they still don't have a card. So there's a way of telling the Electoral Commission to go back to the stance of making voters registration a continuous process, where the youth can walk into the district office when they turn 18 to get a valid voters ID card and then can engage in any by-election or any national election that comes up. So it's not that it's not possible. It's possible for them to do it if they are willing to do this.
Failure to see the Electoral Commission organizing a limited registration. What will happen from the perspective of your foundation? Are you seeking to go to court?
So for the Constitution, there are some constitutional rights that need to be upheld, and there are powers attaining to that. So if the Electoral Commission does not do the job, then we will proceed with every constitutional right and power available to us to make sure that the youth of Assin North are also heard. And
what's immediate on the list? What's your priority?
To get the Electoral Commission to register the youth before the by-election.
Next legal option for you, as you're pointing out? You're going to court?
The next legal option. So as the Constitution mandates, when there's a breach according to the exercise of discretionary powers in the Article 296, there are some steps that can be taken, which we are willing to go by, as stated in Article 296 of our 1990.
Yes, so which of them are you opting for? My question then.
If we have to go to court, we will go.
Okay, grateful. Anajwa Ayinkwa there joining us from the Youth Breach Foundation. You're watching The Pulse. We'll be back.